Hello.
I almost got us in big trouble. We were just no, I was just chatting away. Greg was patiently listening to me, trying to get me to shut up so that we can start the live cast. You know, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Betsy said hi, and then Susie Carta says hi, and it was right at 10. Susie said hi. So thanks, Susie, for popping that in there.
Good morning. I need to be quiet. Yeah, I was telling a bad story on one of my kids. Good morning, everybody. Betsy Co was the very first person here today, so Betsy Co wins our love and admiration.
Yes.
Adoration. And Betsy, I'm sorry, it's Greg, not Sarah.
You're sorry.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Janine from Middle Tennessee. Chris Ferriello is here. And we were talking Italian stuff too, by the way.
Yes.
Let's see. Susie Carta's here. Hey, temperatures in the 40 in Minnesota. You guys had some bad weather this week over that direction. So hope everything's good in your area. 74 in Tennessee, 58 in NWI.
NWI. Is
that
Northwest Territories.
Northwest
Wisconsin?
Northwest Indiana? Or is that an Australian state?
Oh,
Jennifer?
No. New South Wales. No, it wouldn't be Northern.
Don't give us brain teasers. Really?
I like it, but NWI. Is it one of the territories like Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands?
You know, we have this wonderful thing right here. Northwest Indiana. I got it. All right. NWI. Okay. All right. Good.
Okay.
I was going to say we have this wonderful tool right at our fingertips. Literally, we could.
Oh, you mean like Google?
We could Google it. Well, if you Google NWI, what would you get? I'm going to do it.
Oh,
NWI.
It's interesting what you get sometimes.
Market summary. Oh, I'm getting Nuinsko Resources Limited. Is there? Oh, and look. The very second one is the Times of Northwest Indiana.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? I got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Northwest Indiana.
Chris is saying,
how do we know it's not Northwest Illinois or Iowa or?
Yeah, it could have been. You're trying to think Idaho.
Idaho.
There you go. Could have been in.
I knew there's 4 I states, right?
Yeah, and there's Igloolik, which is a hard one to say. It's a village in on Baffin Island.
Oh. Well,
it's a place where my friend goes to be a nurse in the Northwest Territories during the winter. Crazy man that he is.
That is crazy. Yeah. And Nuktatuk is another Inuit village up there, or city, town.
Yeah, I love some of the names of some of the stuff up north. It's
very cool.
Really cool. Coffee is in my WikiTree mug this morning.
I've got my TARDIS of coffee here.
I've got my Reduce mug with when I tilted it up far enough, I can't do it. You can see my grandma's jeans logo on the bottom.
Oh yes, nice. Yeah, but don't spill on yourself.
No. We have a question of the week.
Do we? What's the question? Is it a good one?
It's a pretty cool one. Mm-hmm. So we've got lots of great. I got to move my screen over because I have you guys so that I look like I'm looking straight at you when I'm looking at my screen.
Yes.
Yes, I do that. And I want to go over to that one. Question of the week is a cool one. And it is what is the most interesting tombstone you have found? Pretty cool this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm already on another page. I'm on a second page. This is a pretty cool one. A foot. Just a guy's foot.
What?
Just a foot of James A. Reed severed by a freight train.
Oh, my Lord.
In 1893 in Salisbury, North Carolina. Oh. Don't forget to give these great questions an upvote when you're looking at them. I'm going backwards a bit because I was already on them. I was reading them. In Milford, Connecticut, an old cemetery stone says, Molly, though pleasant in her day, was suddenly seized and sent away. How soon she's ripe, how soon she's rotten. sent to her grave and soon forgotten. And the stone was erected by her parents.
Oh.
This is crazy. A headstone for H.W. Store Ole. Anyway, it's in old Wilmington Township in Houston County, Minnesota, or is that Houston County? You never know.
Oh.
They were my wife's grandparents. I'm not seeing a headstone, but it appears to be an old tree trunk with some engraved material added around it. But not only is it a tree stump, is that like a rabbit's head right there?
Oh.
And then down here, there's a fern, and there's something else sticking off to the side. And then there's an engraving down here with like a wicket fence or something. Amazing. Isn't that crazy? That's a crazy tombstone. And how much would that have cost somebody to have that made?
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be like, people are, I hate to knock on wood and say this, but wouldn't that be a target for vandals? Yeah.
Yeah.
Marion Cerruti has Samuel Robert Hildreth died at sea during a hurricane, but he has a Find a Grave memorial. Mm-hmm. So be careful with checking out those Find a Grave memorials because sometimes they're not really graves. Let's see. And then his first wife, an interesting inscription on her tombstone. Ready, ready, still we love thee, though we see thy form no more. But we know thou come to meet us when we reach that mystic shore. Oh,
that's very nice.
Twoo love.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Here lies poor but honest Brian Tunstall. He was a most expert angler until death. Envious of his merit throughout his line, hooked him and landed him on the 21st day of April 1790. So that's kind of a funny little poem-ish kind of thing where God got him.
Death hooked him in.
Yeah, death hooked him. Firefighter Frank Phillips. And he died because an electrical line hit his helmet. So his helmet is on his tombstone.
Wow.
That's craziness, eh? Let's see. Murdered by capitalism on Edward Bernhardt Schnallbaut's tombstone in Trinidad, California. Let's see. My great-great-grandfather's sister and her husband in an abandoned cemetery in the western Ukraine. Deutsche Treblish colony was established about 250 years ago and now sits on the border between Ukraine and Romeo. And
you mean Romania?
What's that?
You mean Romania? You said Romeo.
What did I say?
You said Romeo, as in Romeo and Juliet.
I got so much sleep last night that I'm so sleepy still.
Oh no!
So there it is.
Sorry.
There's the tombstone. Nice. Thank you very much for catching that. I saw a tombstone with a recipe on it. I like that. We have a tombstone in our family that has the children, the grandchildren, all listed, which obviously wasn't put up in the lifetime of the people. So you can't trust that tombstone.
But that's kind of cool, though, for genealogists.
Sunman, Indiana. It was a tombstone that a tree had grown around, and a storm knocked it down. So there you see it.
Oh.
You found the tombstone.
Right there, yeah.
And then somebody's digging it out. And then trying to read what it says. And that's pretty cool. That's put up by John Manifold.
That's amazing that you could actually read the details in the tombstone after it's been in the earth so long.
I would assume that would protect it more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's the wind and the rain and weather that really, I mean, that's what it's called, weathering.
Right,
tombstones out exposed.
I would have thought the moisture in the earth, though, would have with freezing and unfreezing and stuff.
It's the acid, it's the acidity in the level of acidity and the pH level that would affect that more than the moisture.
Oh, okay.
Because moisture, if you look at peat bogs, that moisture in those peat bogs actually helps to mummify the bodies that they found in those bogs. Let's see. Tombstone of A. Here we go. Ooh. I love seeing the old tombstones where somebody's actually done it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is obviously done by somebody.
Mhm.
Where is this? Swain, North Carolina. In the family, it's in Needmore. That's a cool one.
Mhm.
And there's others. Let's see. I'm gonna go back. Let's check this out. This one is a long list of descendants on the front. That's just like the one that we have in our family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Except the one in our family is a lot. I can find that one. I'll find it in a minute.
Yeah.
Um,
There was one I saw. I think
go
it was.
ahead.
There was one I saw. It's not one I've seen personally, but it was in an email that came sometime this week, I think, where the birth date was logged on, and then the date, and then logged off for his death date.
Okay, well, that surely puts them in a specific time, right?
Well, it was interesting. I mean, the logged off date. Computer when he logged in. I don't know if personal computers were around at that time. I think it was. Well, might have been the 60s, so maybe.
Yeah, could have been this. But
Logged
personal
into a
computers
big,
weren't
really
around in
big
the 60s.
room.
Personal computers weren't around in the 60s. They didn't really come around until the late
No,
70s,
they weren't personal
early
though
80s.
at that point. Yeah.
I like the Tombstone of Sally. She done what she could. Here's a good one.
Oh, neat.
Chu Gik Lung in a Chinese cemetery in Singapore. He passed away in 1932. The size of this is not special for this cemetery. But what makes it interesting is the fact that it has 2 stone statues of Sikh soldiers standing guard. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I want to go to number 1 here. This was a really, really cool one. They and this is voted the best one, and so far I agree. From Alexis Nelson. Alexis, if you're here. Oh, I see Hillary came in, and Donald Lindgren.
Janine.
Oh, and Brian.
Is Brian here?
Brian's here. Brian,
there he
where
is.
have you been, man? We've been missing you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one that got voted best. This is the headstone for Julius J. Youngheim. He was born in Germany, immigrated to Illinois, was in the Union Army, mustered out, great-grandfather of Gail Youngheim. And she is a friend of Alexis's. And Alexis says that she is a very determined person. And that she dug the mud and leaves all over the cemetery until she found every piece of his headstone and put it back together again.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
And I'm like, how did they get a Canadian leaf to fall just perfectly? And then I realized it's a flower. But isn't that gorgeous?
That is.
Yeah, that's a really good one. From and Tina Slack upvoted that one. I agree. That's pretty cool, and that's a cool story.
Nice.
And Chris Whitney even jumped in on that. The image here adds so much to your story. You can see the broken pieces, and that's from Chris Whitten, our WikiTreeer in chief. And here is a look at that graveyard, which, I mean, you can obviously see she would have had a lot of work to do that. I have a stone I need to go and save from a tree in South Carolina when I go down in July.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Travel plans.
Let's see. Hope Cemetery, Vermont. That's an oldie. Samuel Sands. And that's from Kay Knight. She had written for family. It has to be Samuel Sands. My 4th great-grandfather in the 1960s, we would visit the cemetery when visiting relatives' graves in the cemetery across the road. At the time, it was overgrown, weedy, and sunken graves with fallen stones. In the 1970s, the local historical society cleaned up the cemetery because Samuel fought in the Revolutionary War. So this was the spark that got me interested in genealogy. Kay, how cool, Kay? Nice. This is crazy. The members of the noted Sedgwick family are buried in a circle facing their patriarch.
Aww.
He's buried in the middle. So, okay, is he buried standing up?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because I'm like, where is he?
Oh, that
or
is
is he like lengthways and then they're around on either side? That's a good one from
so
Joyce
many
Vanderbilger.
questions.
Is he standing up? I don't know.
Oh.
Let's see. This was apocryphal from Paul Schmel. I told you I was sick.
I love it.
You wouldn't listen to me. I'm sick. Oh, that's great. Let's see. Oh, and this one's a really cool one. This kind of sent shivers down my spine. Okay. And this one is from, I want to zoom down without giving it away. Ooh, sure. This is from Trevor Grismore. There we go. When I was in Germany, I visited I'm not even going to try, cemetery in Berlin. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, just walking down the streets and stumbled on this old cemetery. There were some old graves here, including the grave of Johann Wilhelm Moser. Its headstone stood out easily because it's one of the tallest. It was only once I got up closer that I noticed it had a bullet embedded in it. It was damaged from World War II. Yee!
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh, and Chris Whitten was jumping in on this one too. And what is this? This is Wildwood Cemetery, Lycoming County, Pennsylvania, United States, West Side. What is this?
It looks like Jenga. It looks like a game of Jenga.
It does.
You know, with the things that you put in and.
There has to be a story.
Is there no explanation to it?
There's no explanation.
Oh,
and it's only one person. It's not the husband. Crazy, eh?
Wow.
I love this one. Okay. I came across this stone, and this is from Valerie Kraft. I came across this stone while photographing the Bethel Baptist Church Cemetery in Smyrna, Georgia. The headstones that appear to be personally made from the family. And so that's like the one we were talking about a minute ago where somebody had it. So you can see Joyce, Elaine, Hain, and Born, March, whatever. But obviously the headstone had gotten broken up and torn apart. And the family had gotten together and embedded the broken tombstone in a new one where they embedded little pebbles too.
Oh.
Isn't that cool and sweet?
That is neat.
And it's just for a little baby.
Oh.
Added decorative stones. I wonder if a sibling helped with the decoration. The personal touches show that the child who only lived a short time was loved and remembered in death. That's sweet. Let's see. Trying to remember which ones. Here's another one. Carol. Here we go.
Carol, Willie, Owen.
I'm not here. Have a good day. I was waiting for everybody to get a chance to try and read that one. Shoal Creek Baptist Church in Transylvania County, North Carolina. Who do you think posted that one?
Let me guess. Is it our buddy Chris?
It's Pip.
Pip. Oh, Pip, of course.
Pip Shepherd. And here's one, this one made him sad, in Paw Creek Presbyterian Cemetery, where the tree is literally grown around the tombstone.
Wow.
But having had the tree grow around the tombstone and still presenting it in such a great way, is the tree now the tombstone? And look at how, I mean, it's an old tree too.
Yeah.
I can't see a date on that cemetery, or on that tombstone.
Wow.
I'm saying words and the other words are coming out.
And other words are coming. Oh, I understand.
Let's see. Tombstone of Thomas Thatcher, Winchester Cathedral. The inscription says it all. It was later mentioned by one of the founders of AA who had seen it and failed to heed the advice. So, in grateful remembrance, goodwill, placed at their expense as a small testimony of their regard and concern, here sleeps in peace a Hampshire grenadier who caught his death by drinking cold beer.
Beer, it looks like.
Small beer. Soldiers be wise from his untimely fall, and when your hot drink strong or none at all. So maybe the beer was bad.
Yeah. Could be.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Or hadn't fermented the wrong way, or
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
and even if you ferment it the wrong way, it's still got the alcohol content. You would think it would kill bad stuff.
You'd think.
Somebody in the chat know what's going on?
What's this with small beer? Stephen has joined us since we last checked out, and Jennifer.
Yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Another tree stump. I have pictures of a cemetery in Pickens County, South Carolina, where two brothers are buried, and one has a hand pointing down and the other one has a hand pointing up.
Oh.
And there's actually a mention of why that is in the will. The guy was not a good guy.
Oh my.
And he was they wrote him out of the will too. Here rests with God, George failed. He true, born in Germany and died in the 90 years his age. That's an interesting bad transcription, but a good one anyway in Spencer.
So is that what's actually on the tomb, or is that a translation of the German?
Yeah, somebody took a literal interpretation of the transcription.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. So also, if you read a transcription that doesn't quite sound right, it's probably in a language and somebody did their best at trying to translate what it said.
Yeah.
Another cube.
Very cool.
Let's go to page 3. See what we got here. This is the headstone. Don't forget to vote them up. Headstone of my great aunt Hannah Jones Ward and her husband John Ralph Ward and one of their daughters, Frances. Hannah's the daughter of my great-great-grandparents, Amos Jones and Rebecca Hebron Jones. My grandfather, Frank Hebron Jones, was given her maiden name as his middle name. I love the inscription, home to lie with their people.
Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
And
is that the same one?
I believe so, but we're going to vote it up again.
Yeah.
Let's see. When my husband and I were walking to our wedding, we went through Copp's Hill Cemetery in Boston. I decided to take his name, and then in the cemetery was a marker with a skull and wings above a person with the exact same name and spelling of what I was to become later that day.
Oh no.
I wish I had a photo.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an
how does that make you feel good, or does that make you feel creepy?
They're 44 years married, so I'm saying it was okay.
It was good. Okay, it was a sign.
Maybe they stopped and had a long talk.
Yes. Well, let's see. How long did this person live with this name?
Yeah.
Yeah. They lived to 100. Yeah, sure. I'll take the name.
Gravestone in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts describes a 9-year-old boy who passed away in 1818 after falling on a dung fork that penetrated his brain. Where'd you go? Is that it right there? Nope. Got to find it. There it is. Fall on a dung fork. Ugh. Not something I want to have happen.
No.
And then there's no picture or anything here. Patrick, you missed something.
Self-explanatory.
Yep. that is punny that he did it that way.
Yeah, too. I know.
Visiting my great-grandparents' grave in a small churchyard in Columbiana County, Ohio. Took a picture of my sister standing by their monument, and when I turned around, I saw this tombstone. George Mottinger died.
Oh.
Not sure what the story is there, Mary, but interesting. Here we are. There's a leg. Everett McCoy's leg. No date. McCoy Cemetery. Would you go to the funeral of a body part?
A body part? I don't know. That seems weird.
You're a pianist. Would you go to the funeral of your left
their
hand?
hands?
Your bass?
Yeah,
you would lose your Baptist bass.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. And goodness gracious, let's write a novel.
Wow.
Here lies the dust of old EP. One instance of mortality. Pennsylvania born, Carolina bred, in Tennessee died upon his bed. His youthful days were spent in pleasure, his later days in gathering treasure. From superstition lived quite free and practiced strict morality. To holy cheats was never willing to give one solitary shilling. He can foresee, and foreseeing, he equals most men in being, that church and state will join their power and misery over their country shower. The Methodists with their camp brawlings will be the cause of his downfalling, an error not designed to see. He waits for poor posterity. His first fruits and tenths are odious things, and so are bishops, tithes, and kings. What a crazy, anti-church and state epitaph.
Yeah.
And that is the grandfather of James K. Polk, the president of the United States.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought I was waiting for that. Isn't that crazy?
That is interesting. Wow.
Let's see. Actually posted on somebody's tombstone their entire life story. Fled to America to escape the war.
Wow.
Fur trapper for the French, British governments, French, Indian War veteran, American Revolution. And then married Anne Ashley, descendant of John Ashley of Jamestown. My question is, Kathy, have you gone through and verified this?
All of that, yeah.
If anyone can prove any of the facts in this epitaph, I'd love to hear about it. So no, she hasn't.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember as you pass by, remember me as you pass by, for as you are, now I once was I. As I am, now you must be. Prepare yourself to follow me.
Ooh, a warning. Yes, this comes to us all.
Remember, friends, as you pass by, you once was I. And there's another one, from Jeff Ricketts. Is the exact same one as that one up there. I missed one. I got to upvote these people. Here's to the things I love. The most beautiful horses and lovely ladies while I live. May I always have the pleasure to ride beautiful horses and dance with lovely ladies when I die. May my skin be tanned and made into a lady's saddle. So, no, not going to finish reading that one.
Wow.
Yeah. Who wrote Who posted that? Roxanne?
I didn't see that turn coming.
Woo! Can't do that. All right. And then the grave of A.K. Miller in the Pygmy Forest. Oh, cool.
Well, that looks very cool.
It does look cool. And a nice profile, too.
Yeah. And research notes. Wow.
Wow. That's crazy cool. Let's see. That's it.
That's it?
That's it. That's about it. That's enough.
That's it.
Goodness
the other tombstone that I really like, I don't have a picture of it here, but it was actually of a colleague of mine who I used to teach with, but he passed away sadly of brain cancer, way too young. But his tombstone says, entered into earthly life, and then gave his birth date, then entered into married life and the date that he was married to his wife, and then entered into heavenly life for the day he died.
Nice.
So I thought that was really nice, the parallelism there and everything. And
nice. Oh, so, nice.
Yeah.
So, Greg, now you have half an hour. I took an entire half hour.
Well, it's only fair because I usually take up so much time.
So I hope everybody has snacks.
That's right. This is a special 2-hour episode of the WikiTree Livecast.
Hillary has a very good comment about the fellow who died from drinking beer. They usually drank beer instead of water, as the water was boiled in the brewing process, meaning that it was not the water was good.
The water was good.
So if the brew hadn't been done correctly,
right,
then the water could have killed him.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Hillary.
That makes sense. Okay. Well,
and somebody says that small beer is root beer.
Really?
Yeah.
Small beer is root beer. Huh. Okay, I'm going to try and share my screen. And I should have tried this before we went on.
Oh, hey, June. June Budka's here. Hey, June.
Is June here? Excellent. How are you doing, June?
June has she's been an Amazonian princess over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, she has.
June. Okay. So our profiles of the week are about country music stars. But before we do that, I should share, because it was promised on Mother's Day. We had a gathering here, and I have a picture, a mitochondrial picture, because 4 generations of ladies from our family. So there's my wife, Julie, our daughter, Alexandra, and our granddaughter, Sophia, and my mother-in-law, Julie's mother, Gilda.
Who is actually there.
Who is in the house, yes. And before we started recording, she came down the stairs, and Meg said, "Who's in the house?"
There's a lady there.
Yeah. So yeah. So there's our little granddaughter.
That is a great mitochondrial picture.
It is, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. 4 favorite ladies.
Aww.
Yeah. Anyways, I should stop looking at that and.
Aww, are you?
I know. We'll just go ooh and ah. Oh, thanks, Betsy. Betsy said that was a photo. But talking about wonderful ladies, the profiles of the week are all about wonderful ladies of country music, and that it started off. The catalyst, of course, was the untimely passing of Naomi Judd, who passed away April 30th. Just at the very end of last month. And she was born as Diana Ellen Judd. So she adopted the name Naomi later on. Born in 1946 in Ashland, Kentucky, daughter of Charles Glenn Judd and Pauline Ruth Oliver. The profile gives various relationships: the paternal granddaughter of Roy Allen Judd and Sally Moore, and maternal granddaughter, the 5th great grandniece of someone here. And then she married Michael Charles Chamela in Virginia in 1964. And they were the parents of Winona Judd and Ashley Judd, her 2 daughters that you will be familiar with probably. And then they divorced, and then she married Larry Strickland in 1989. She and her daughter Winona, of course, made up the duo The Judds. And her other daughter, Ashley, is an actress. She passed away at the age of 76 on April 30th. In Leiper's Fork, Williamson County, Tennessee. And I thought this was cool. Someone found her entry in the 1950 census.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that cool? Like, how up to date is that? That's very cool. So here she is, because remember her name was Diana Ellen. So here she is. She's the daughter, and there's her father, Charles G. Judd, and her mother, Pauline. And nice. I guess a brother, Glenn. Huh. And I'm thinking that her father must have had be one of the ones that had a star beside his name, because they included this extra bit from the down below, that he was worked as at a service station, filling station.
Nice.
And worked 60 hours that week. Yeah. So
60.
Well, it says 60. Isn't that the number of hours you worked that week? Wasn't that one of the questions?
40-hour work week.
Well, yeah, but doesn't that look like a 6th?
It does. That means that he worked a lot longer than he.
Yeah. Even if it's an officially 40, but in 1950 was a 40-hour work week mandate. I doubt it.
I don't know when that started.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to post your connections to these people as we go, we can look at that. And let me look. You are. Let's see.
My closest, I'm
24
closest,
from 24? Naomi.
Yeah, my closest one is coming up.
Yep, I've got it up on the screen. You're 24, and I am 17 from Naomi.
I don't have anyone in the teens. I think my closest one is a 22, or maybe a 21. I'm
surprised I'm not closer, because Tennessee, North Carolina.
Yeah, there's a bunch that are from the there's
mountains.
One actually from Appalachia. So
yeah.
And we'll talk about that. So here's
wait. How am I not surprised that Chris Ferriello is 22 degrees from Minnie Pearl, and that's the first one he would put up? Okay.
Okay. So June Carter Cash, I believe, is the one that I'm closest to. I think I'm 22.
18.
What's that?
Oh, that's me. Is that me or you?
No, I'm not in the teens for any of them. I don't
think. How did that happen? That's so funny.
I'm 21 or 22. I think it's 22.
You are 22 from June Cash.
Yeah. Okay. So June Carter Cash. I knew her because Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was a family favorite in terms of music, and I had one cousin who I visit regularly, and he loved Johnny Cash. So we're quite familiar with the Johnny Cash and the Carter family. But anyways, Valerie June Carter Cash was born as Valerie June Carter on May 15th. No, that's when she died. In 23rd of June in 1929 in Virginia. Daughter of Ezra Carter and Maybelle Addington. Mother Maybelle, also known as Mother Maybelle. She played the guitar, banjo, harmonica, auto harp, and acted in several films and television shows. Won 5 Grammy Awards, was inducted into the Christian Music Hall of Fame, and was voted number 31 in the top 40 greatest women in country music. She began performing at the age of 10 in 1939, was part of the Carter family trio until it stopped, and then joined her mother and her sister formed the Mother Maybelle and Carter Sisters group.
And those were the people that we knew. We knew the Carter family more than we knew Johnny Cash at the time.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather listened to the old time gospel hour Sunday mornings, and I was with them a lot. So
yeah. I love them all. Like Mother Maybelle, she was a character too, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, and through here it gives details about some of the things they did and where they performed. It was interesting. I didn't know. Did you know the Virginia Boys?
Yep.
Okay, so I didn't know of them, but that was actually Mother Maybelle's brother and cousin. So it's kind of cool. So you have a female group from the family and then a male group from the family, performing together. That's very cool. June herself was a natural born clown, if there ever was one. So that's kind of cool. And
I think she should be sainted as well for staying with, and not staying with, but for being the kind of the savior of Johnny Cash.
Yeah. I found this interesting that in 1949, they performed along with a young Chet Atkins and performed regularly. They declined numerous offers from the Grand Ole Opry to move the act to Nashville because the Opry would not permit Atkins to accompany them on stage. So it wasn't until they relented and agreed.
Why wouldn't they let Chet Atkins accompany them on stage?
I don't know. Is there something about?
Oh, now I'm going to Google. Go ahead.
Is it something because of the background? Was there some prejudice there? Would be my guess. Though someone said that some of the studio musicians were fearful that because he was so good, he would displace them as the first call player if he came to Nashville.
Yeah,
Anyways, 1950, they came along, and that's when they went to Opry. That's when June met Johnny Cash. So there we go. Her tombstone here, speaking of tombstones, has a quote from a psalm. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Nice. There she is. She was lovely. Next is Virginia Patterson Hensley, also known as Patsy Klein. She was born in 6th of September, 1932 in Gore, Frederick, Virginia. Married twice and died tragically in 1963 because of a plane crash during foul weather. She was the member of the first colony of European immigrants to... Oh, no, that was one of her famous ancestors, yeah. She was the first female solo artist admitted to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and also the first female country artist to get top billing for a show. That's pretty impressive. Her recording of Crazy, which is great, Crazy Good, is the most popular jukebox song ever. That's a neat piece of trivia. Walking After Midnight is also credited here, but then there's lots of Patsy Klein songs and stuff. So
for Chet Atkins, He developed a style of guitar played called the Nashville style. But it was too progressive for the Grand Ole Opry. It was too rockabilly, rock and rollish for them, which it wasn't, but it was.
But they thought it was. Isn't that funny?
It is.
Yeah. Then we have Mickey Guyton, who I didn't know before until I read this. Mickey Guyton is an American country music artist. She was the first Black woman to co-host the Country Music Awards in 2021. So guilty I didn't watch the Country Music Awards. Her 2020 song, Black Like Me, was nominated for a Grammy Award, making her the first Black solo female artist to be nominated in a country music category. Excuse me. She was born on 17th of June, 1983 in Tarrant County, Texas. Very nice. Loretta Lynn, daughter of Melville Webb Sr., formerly, so Webb was her maiden name, and Clara Marie Ramey. She was born in the 30s and is still living. She journeyed from the poverty of the Kentucky Hills to Nashville superstardom to her current status as an honest-to-goodness American icon. Multiple gold album American country music singer, songwriter whose work spans more than 50 years. She received numerous awards and other accolades for her groundbreaking role. She was born in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, second child of Clara Marie Ramey and coal miner Ted Webb. 8 children, so big family there. Had a song, Coal Miner's Daughter, which was then she had an autobiography, and then turned into a movie with Sissy Spacek, I think, was the one who played.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, that was an excellent. But her family eked out a living during the Depression on the poor man's dollar, and I hadn't heard that phrase before, but it's described. Her father earned money by working all night in a coal mine and then all day in the field hoeing corn. I can't imagine that. Like, when do you sleep or get any rest in that?
Really?
In their song, she said, I never thought of leaving Butcher Holler until she met Oliver Lynn, who was a dashing, handsome 21-year-old fresh from the service who swept her off her feet. And then the profile goes through lots of her life and her struggles. I like here, she wrote a string of hits unprecedented for their take no crap women narrators. She focused on blue-collar women's issues with themes about philandering husbands and persistent mistresses, inspired by issues she placed in her own marriage. Pushed boundaries in the conservative genre of country music, singing about birth control, repeated childbirth, double standards, and being widowed. Yeah, so that's impressive work there.
Hey, John Tyner, who's just come in, we're doing country music legends, so get you caught up.
And she did amazing collaborations with Conway Twitty, and they won dual vocal. So lots of impressive things there. She lost her husband in the 90s and spent time, and after that has been grieving his loss. Impressive woman. Rita Mcneil. Now this is one who's near and dear to my heart. Do you know Rita Mcneil?
I do, and you're 37 degrees away from her, which
I
think is amazing comparatively.
It's not fair. 37?
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not right. And so me and my family actually had tea in her tea room.
With her or just in her room?
Well, in the room, she wasn't home at the time. So, but we actually, we had a secondhand motorhome when the kids were younger. And one of our trips across Canada was up down east. And when we went to Cape Breton and went through, we stopped in Big Pond, which is where Rita Mcneil was born and had her home. And one of the things she said, because she was so personable, was, I'll come and have tea with me if you ever stop by. And she actually had a house that was set up as a tea room, and people could go and have tea there. And sometimes she'd actually be there, but she wasn't there at the time we went. But we did pull in.
That's pretty cool. And
It was
sad that you're 37 degrees from her.
I know.
Aw.
I know. But anyway, she's from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, Canadian. First lady of Cape Breton's first lady of song, and she was lovely. She had a big personality, and was just the kindest person. Had a TV show, some hits that I'm not sure if they transferred it over into the States, and she was well known there at all.
Not
Flying
really.
on Your Own, Working Man. Oh, Finnegan, hush.
Finnegan loves Rita Mcneil.
Finnegan is very sad too. He's upset here too. Where do you want to go? You want to go outside? Oh no. Oh, he sees his cousin dogs outside and he wants to go play.
Live radio and TV, people.
Sorry, folks. Anyways, she was lovely. Unfortunately, she did pass away in 2013, but she was inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. But one of the sweetest ladies, you know. So there we go. But there's a number. I think that's a theme among a number of these profiles. Very sweet ladies. Reba Mcintyre, born in the 50s, daughter of Clark Vincent McIntyre and Jacqueline Smith. Very short, to the point biography here. Grew up on an Oklahoma cattle ranch before her music career.
Which fits because she's not a very tall person.
Oh, no. She competed in rodeo barrel racing. Yes. Her father was a champion calf roper. Well, that's kind of cool. She sang the national anthem at a national rodeo finals, and that's where country artist Red Siegel was impressed by her and helped launch her recording career. So you never know. Any of these gigs might make you famous. She became a member of the Grand Ole Opry. She had a sitcom, starred in Annie Get Your Gun. I could see that. Inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And 50 plus top 10 singles. Wow, that's a lot. 4-time CMA Country Female Vocalist of the Year and 2 Grammy Awards. Very impressive. Then we go down under. Joy Kirkpatrick McKean, daughter of Silas Lindsay McKean and Mildred Agnes Killen, was born in the 1930s. Australian country music singer, songwriter, and wife of the late Slim Dusty, known as the Grand Lady of Australian country music. Joy is recognized as one of Australia's leading songwriters and bush balladeers, and wrote several of Dusty's most popular songs. In 1983, Joy was inducted into the Australian Country Music Hall of Fame, Roll of Renown, with her sister, the McKean sisters, and again in her own right in 2020. She was born as Mildred Geraldine Joy McKean on the 14th of January 1930. On the banks of the Hunter River in New South Wales, the older daughter of Silas McKean, a school teacher, and Mildred Killen. I like this. Whilst descending from pioneering Aussie families, Joy's father's family was primarily Irish Catholics, and the mother's family was Scots Presbyterians. Ooh. Oh dear.
Ooh.
A little editorial comment in the profile writing there.
Yeah,
I can see. Yes, those two groups don't necessarily always mix well together. Sometimes.
No, they don't.
But sometimes they have different. But so that was kind of funny. Her parents encouraged an interest in different types of music, so she learned accordion, piano, and steel guitar. And her younger sister, they learned ukulele, and then they both took up yodeling.
Yodeling.
Exactly. Another thing I found funny in this was that she married her fellow country music singer, whose name was Gordon Kirkpatrick, but his stage name was Slim Dusty. But she had to convince her mother before she got married that Slim Dusty was the stage name and that she was not about to become Mrs. Joy Dusty.
That's funny.
I think that's funny. Yeah. And then it goes on to some more details about her life, her awards, songs that she'd written for. Very cool. Well written. I really appreciated reading this profile. This was good. Then we have Dolly Parton. I think probably one of the most beloved women on the planet.
You're 25 from her, and I am. Where am I? I thought that I would be closer to her than I am, but I'm 18 from her.
Oh, that's good.
But Reba McIntyre goes back to Hall County, Georgia, to my really deep Appalachian roots. But Dolly doesn't, which surprised me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She goes back through my South Carolina Appalachian roots.
Yeah. So this profile is nicely done. She was born in a one-room cabin in Pittman Center, Tennessee, on the 19th of January, 1946. Dolly Rebecca Parton, born to Lee Parton and Avi Lee Owens. She was the fourth of 12 children. Wow.
Hold on a second. June Booker,
yes,
has just said that my mother was a yodeler at the local Circle 9 Ranch and Lone Star Ranch with other renowned yodelers.
Wow.
That's crazy.
June, that is so cool.
Sorry, I had to give you a shout out on that one. Okay, go ahead.
That is amazing. Wow. Okay, so she grew up in a very low economical area of Appalachia where money was very, very limited for such a large family. And the doctor who delivered Dolly was paid with a bag of cornmeal. That's
gold.
That's gold.
That's gold. That's where I come from.
Well, yeah.
Bag of cornmeal.
Yeah. So I have to take a brief time out here because I read that as Appalachia because that's how I thought the word was spelled. But you always say Appalachia.
Yeah.
So I actually went on Wikipedia and there are 3 pronunciations that are acceptable.
And mine's not one of them.
No, Appalachia is one of them.
Okay, good.
If you pronounce the A as in bad, Appalachia, or you can pronounce the A as in face, Appalachia.
Yeah.
And apparently there's either Appalachia, and you have a hard CH like China, so Appalachia, or Appalachia with a SH.
And since I am from Appalachia,
yes,
one would assume that my pronunciation would be the correct one.
Well, it was the first one mentioned.
Okay, good. Good.
But every time you say that word, I thought, I'm sure that's not how, that's not how.
I gotta go and check Mags on this. She can't be saying
No, I knew
right.
you had to be right.
From there, but it can't be right.
No, I figured you had to be right, but why was my section of Ontario always pronouncing it wrong? So,
and I've also been known to say Appalachia.
Yes, I've heard you say that too. And I don't see that there, but that's okay. But maybe it's an adjective.
Ken Burns did a series on country music.
Mm-hmm.
And the very first few episodes of that sing to my soul. And I think that you will hear some people in that actually say Appalachia as well.
Appalachia, yeah. Interesting. But taking taking
us to school.
It's like the Sunday morning curse. That's right. Yeah. You get your phonics and your multiplication tables, all those things.
We were talking about the Fibonacci
Fibonacci series. Yes, before. Earlier. Yeah, we could do it. Don't you tempt us. We'll give you some.
We were talking about it before we went live. That's why we almost missed the beginning of the
that's
show.
Right.
Math, people, math.
Music played an important role for Dolly, even at a young age, and she and her family attended the church and her grandfather pastored at, where she began her singing career at the age of 6. Imagine that. Wow. By the age of 10, she was appearing on the Cass Walker Show. Anyways, I don't know what more you can say. There's so much here, and from everything that I've read, she is just one of the most beloved.
Oh gosh, yes.
And down to earth people.
Dolly for president.
Dolly for president, yeah. That would solve so many of the world's problems.
Yes.
It would, wouldn't it?
It would.
Anyways,
Minnie
another
Pearl,
person
this is Chris Farriello's cousin.
This is Chris's cousin? How cool is that?
Can you tell? I think they look a lot alike. Chris, do you have a hat like that?
Oh. Okay, so Sarah Ophelia Pearl. former Colley, daughter of Thomas Kelly Colley and Frances Tate House. Was born the 25th of October 1912 in Centerville, Hickman County, Tennessee, and then died at age 83 in 1996 in Tennessee as well. Minnie Pearl, also a well-known, well-loved actress, country music, comedian, icon. Her parents had debutante balls in college in mind for their daughter, who'd been stage struck with the love of vaudeville and drama since an early age. While she was indeed a college graduate, that didn't stop her from sneaking into tent shows, which was against her parents' wishes. While producing an amateur musical comedy in Bellington, Alabama, around 1936, she met a young mountain woman from whom she based her famed and beloved character, Miss Minnie Pearl, on. So she actually had a live person that she had modeled her character on. So that's kind of interesting. Her first performance as Minnie Pearl was in 1939 in South Carolina. But Yay! It was, yeah, there we go. The introduction to the audience of the world was on the Grand Ole Opry in 1940 at age 28. That catapulted her to stardom through the live performances, radio, and even eventually television. For 50 years, she entertained the music world with Minnie's tales of her fictional hometown, Grinders Switch, Tennessee, stepping on stage proclaiming howdy.
Howdy. It wasn't howdy, it was howdy.
Okay. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah. Very nice. She was married for over 50 years, so that's pretty cool as well. Very nice. And
she was a regular on what was the name of the show? Petticoat Junction.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
That's not one of the ones that I saw regularly. I don't know if it was on our local TV station.
Yeah, it may not have made it to Canada.
No. It may not have been. Gomer Pyle was there. There was a few years where that was playing, but anyways. Very neat. And the last one is Ellen Muriel Deason Wells. Born
Kitty
in
Wells.
What's that?
Kitty Wells.
Yes. Also known as Kitty Wells, an American pioneering female country music singer. Born in 1919 in Tennessee again, and passed away just in 2012 at age 92.
You're 23 degrees from your mom.
Oh.
Your mother, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which surprises me.
Yeah.
Because most of these have been through your dad's side.
That's interesting. So there must be some French-Canadian connection there.
Must be.
Uh-huh. Born in 1919, 10 years old, living with her parents on the 1930 census. She married Johnny Wright, a cabinet maker and a budding country singer himself in 1937. They appeared in the 1940 census. She used the professional stage name Kitty Wells. She became the first female artist to earn a #1 single with "It Wasn't God Who Made Honky Tonk Angels." What a cool name for a song. She broke the top 10 in the country charts 29 times during her career and topped the charts twice. And she and her husband were married for almost 74 years before he died in September 2011. 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren, 7 great-great-grandchildren. And then she passed away July 16th, 2012 in Madison, Tennessee, 92 years old. Kitty Wells. So there we have it. And I have one last thing to share. Since Sarah's not here is your dog photo of the week. So this is our Finnegan, the tan one in the middle, playing with his cousin dogs. I call them, they're my brother's dogs, so I call them his cousin dogs. And so I was clearing out all the leaves from around our hedges and just temporarily putting them on the driveway, and they were jumping in them and playing. And so here's.
Oh, Sarah. Where is Sarah when we needed her? That's cute. And if anybody wants to know why Canadians might want to leave their leaves in their garden beds, it helps to insulate the garden beds for the winter. So yeah. Canadians often, they'll clear a lot of the leaves from their lawn, but not their garden area. So yeah, cool. So we're going to skip the photo of the week this week, eh?
Yeah, because neither of us left enough time for it.
Oh, and it's 11. Neither of us. Look at you.
But there's your photo. I gave you a photo and a video of the week.
You did. And I don't know if any of you have looked to see how many blood relations you had, but I just checked. Dolly Parton is my 10th cousin.
Ooh.
And Reba Mcnintyre is my 12th cousin. So you can also check your connections to people on the that's funny. You can also check your connections to the bloodlines, because the connections is the fun connections.
Right.
AJ, I call it the AJ Jacobs connections. How you're related. My sister's first cousin, second friends, best buddies, sister.
Right.
And Chris Variello says, somewhere Sarah perks up and rushes online.
Oh, that's funny. Yes.
At the puppy photo. Yeah, that's great.
This was that reminded me, there was one thing about June Carter Cash that I had meant to mention, was that she was the 4th cousin of Loretta Lynn. So they were pretty close, as well as Crystal Gale.
Well, and they all, there was a circuit that they played on. And so all of these families were very close as well. I really suggest you people watch the country music movie series that Ken Burns did for PBS. And the first few episodes is about the beginnings of country music, which was the gospel circuit singers in the Appalachians. So interesting. Brought me home. That's the WikiTree live cast for the week. We love coming and giving you this fun stuff every week. And we'll see you next week. We didn't even talk about who the challenge was or nothing. See y'all.
Sorry.